Hello, welcome back to the channel. It's been a little while. I know this isn't the best shot and I'm sort of backlit, which isn't great for the exposure, but to be honest, this is one of those videos where you can tune out a bit. And what I mean by that is not necessarily don't listen, but you don't have to watch the video. You can just put it on in the background and listen to me speak. This is a point that I wanted to get out there because I think it's interesting to put across. We're kind of a gaming channel. I think it's a point that people are missing to a certain extent. Obviously this video is in a sea of hundreds about the next gen consoles and which one's better. And I will run into that, but I think I've got a little bit of a more unique approach to a certain extent. So first of all, we'll run through the two consoles themselves. I mean, by this point you all know what they look like. The Xbox is sort of a more classic design. It's a box, literally. It will sit in your home and it would just look normal next to your sort of other DVD player, whatever, if anyone has any of those anymore. But you know what I mean, like a normal set-top box. Whereas the PlayStation 5 looks absolutely mental. Personally, I don't really like that because it kind of looks like a Wi-Fi router or a air conditioning unit, although those jokes are all done, so I'm not going to go into that too much, but it's not necessarily my style, although I can see how you might like it if you've got sort of that futuristic aesthetic, maybe a more minimalist place it might fit in, kind of, as though it's certainly like a statement piece. So the design, I think, for me at least, the Xbox Series X gets it, and that's just because it looks more classic. When you look at the specs, these things are basically identical, and so they're both AMD Zen 2 architecture with 8 cores, 16 threads. The Xbox is 3.8 GHz compared to a PlayStation's 3.5 GHz, so the CPU is slightly more powerful. Similar situation in the GPU. They're both AMD custom RDNA 2 architecture. The Xbox Series X has 52 compute units at 1.8 GHz, which equals 12 teraflops of overall power. And the PlayStation is similar in that it's clocked higher but has less compute units, so 36 compute units at 2.23 GHz and 10.3 teraflops. So to be honest, they're both going to be very similar in performance. Both of those are really impressive, by the way, even compared to modern gaming PCs. I run a 1070 with my PC, and I would definitely say I'm a PC gamer. And yeah, so they're both more powerful than my computer, so I think I will be picking one of them up. Similarly, RAM, they have the same 16 gigabytes of RAM. Storage, the Xbox Series X is slightly higher at 1 terabyte, whereas the PlayStation's at 825, although I think PlayStation's SSD is slightly faster, and I don't think it's proprietary, whereas the Xbox is like a proprietary unit, which is a bit of a downside on their front. Power consumption, again, is slightly higher on the PlayStation. Both got a 4K optical drive. The PlayStation does have Wi-Fi 6, so that is one spec where they're slightly ahead of the Xbox, whereas the Xbox only has Wi-Fi 5. And they're both the same price, about $500 US. So that's it. Basically, the long and the short there is that the Xbox is slightly better spec'd, but to be honest, let's look at console generations. Does that make any difference? No. But the PlayStation has better exclusives. Fine, whatever. That's sort of, so basically, there's not really any changes. You're probably going to buy PlayStation if you had a PlayStation before, or an Xbox if you had an Xbox before, or depends what the majority of your friends are going to do. Now here's where it gets interesting. So what's unique to me about the Xbox is the whole Game Pass thing. I know Microsoft has PlayStation Plus and they have some games, but Game Pass is amazing value. You've got all of those legacy games. Now Microsoft's acquired Bethesda as well. You just get access to so many games. And for someone like me who doesn't buy AAA games anymore, that's great because I do want to play them. I just don't want to pay £50 for them. So I think that is something that tilts me over the edge. The other thing that I think people are missing here is the Xbox Series S. Let me just pull that up. So the Xbox Series S is considerably less powerful, but it's friggin' tiny, which is amazing. It doesn't have a disk drive, fine. But if you just want it to be effectively a Game Pass machine, the value prospect from that is amazing. It's perfect for 1440p gaming, which, let's face it, I mean, a lot of us can't see that much of a difference. The main thing for me is variable refresh rate, which I think they all support. But yeah, it's just £200-ish. Portable gaming machine. It's slightly cheaper than a Nintendo Switch. If you buy one of those and you get Game Pass, you're basically set. That thing is amazing value, and I actually think the best console of the next generation is the Xbox Series S, and that's because the specs don't really matter that much unless you really are that person who's out there wanting mind-bending graphics. And if that's the case, buy a fucking gaming PC. Like, you're not going to be a console gamer anyway. Like, you don't need that. You want smooth frame rates, reasonable resolutions, and I think 1440p, it's personally what I game in anyway. Because I prefer a monitor over a TV because of things like response time. So Yeah, and refresh rate. So, yeah, I think the Xbox Series S is the winner, basically because of the price point. Also, the design looks amazing. I really love that white and black stormtrooper-y design. It's awesome. That will fit in most people's living rooms, and it's bloody tiny. I can't emphasize enough how small it is. I'll link to some unboxing videos below. It's just, I really think that is the best value prospect, and if you are thinking of a next-gen console, and you don't have that much space, or you're budget conscious, that's definitely what you should buy. I don't think that either of the other consoles are worth the extra money. And then, I mean, there might be a slim edition of those, but that's probably going to be 2 years. So yeah, there you go. There's my quick opinion on the next consoles, and the one I think you should pick up. Thank you for watching. Hopefully, I'll be back with another video soon. Cheers.